That's
Okay.
all she wanted was the hamper from the garage. Everything else was there and packed. She was ready to go. She just wanted the hamper. He had no authority to give her the hamper or couldn't get into the garage. He didn't know how to get into the garage. Actually, I'm sure your son said to you, if you're a smart man, well, what do they want? And I assume he said to you, they want a hamper from the garage. I assume he said that to you, or he wasn't listening. That he wasn't listening to. Did he tell you that that's what they wanted?
Not that I recall.
Okay. So now tell me what he did to your car. He opens the car door.
Opened the car door. I thought he was going to hit me. My sister and niece were scared to death. They were hysterical. Let's go. He's going to kill us, you know, because he was out of control. And he grabbed my car door remote, slammed that door, hit my windshield, went to the back door. He had to have scratched it with this, opened that door, and threw her bags of belongings out in the street. And then, after he got his son's car out...
Well, how did he get the son's car out? He went up on the curb?
Yeah, and then he came head-on at my car like he was going to hit us head-on. Matter of fact, the son in the driveway kept backing up like he was going to hit my car.
Well, you should have let him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should have let him out.
Yeah.
You have no right to block him in.
I know, but he should have let us in that garage.
Just a second. It's not his responsibility to let you in the garage. Let's understand each other. It's not his responsibility. He's not in charge of that house. If it was a hamper and clothes you were looking for, you'd be smart. You get your niece out of there.
Right.
You go to wherever you're going to take her, and then you make a communication. Listen, we left a hamper there. Either you get it or you don't get it. But blocking him in is not what you're legally able to do. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
That's why he got frustrated. There's no question about that. He handled it all wrong. You can't put your hands on her car. You can't take out the bags from the car. You can't run over them.
I did not run them over.
You can't scratch her car.
I didn't do that either.
Well, she's going to show me pictures, sir. And that's what she's and that's what she's here for. She has to convince me that you damaged property and you took property without permission.
Well, as the video shows, the bags were not thrown or sprawled out or ran over as she's claiming either.
Oh, no, she didn't say sprawled out, sir.
She said I threw
You
them.
touched somebody else's property, and you have no right to do that. You were angry. You have no right to touch her car, scare her physically. And if you threw, not gently put, the bags of stuff, oh, there's no question in my mind that if you're angry and you grabbing them out of the car, you're not grabbing them out of the car and gently putting them down. Whatever. Show me the car's damage, please.
I did not throw them.
All right. Good. Shouldn't be taking care of challenged people in your house. Should get off every list. I know it's a business and I know people have to do it, not you. Okay. Damage to the car.
Right here.
Is this the damage? Is this the...
Crack, yeah. Yes.
Did you have it fixed?
Yes.
I'd like to see the bill for it.
Okay.
So is what you're telling me your out-of-pocket was $250?
Yes.
Okay. To fix your car was more money, but that was your deductible, $250.
Right.
Okay. So we have $250. What else?
He took my garage door opener, so I had to buy a new one.
How much was that?
$134.95.
I didn't touch a garage door opener.
What else?
And the rental car was $366.20 that I was in while my car was getting worked on.
Just a second. Did your insurance pay for that? Yes, they had to.
Yeah.
Yes, of course they did. Because if you had a $250 deductible on your car, then there's no question in my mind that you had rental car. Okay, all right. $385, judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court is adjourned.
That was no problem as far as her moving out. That's a normal part of the business. What was very upsetting was somebody involving my son and trapping him from being able to move.
Because what I wanted wouldn't have taken more than 30 seconds to get. I'm disabled, so I always look for the easiest route.
I do regret I was pretty fumed, but it was because, you know, that Papa Bear part of me came out, and somebody was attacking my kid in my head, so
The way he was cussing and carrying on.
I wanted to go full force, and I went too far with verbalizing anyways.
Just screen him good.
A good point that this case highlighted that I actually couldn't believe that I want to look into a little bit more is that just anybody can rent or own a 5-bedroom, however many bedroom home, and just open their doors and get put on a list for rooms for rent for people with real challenges or disabilities. You've been in the business longer than me, but you need a license to give a pedicure in most places. Right. So the fact that this man can just open up a home that he was renting and be put on a list as a safe haven for these people to live, secure living environment, food, shelter, all of that, to me, is kind of outrageous that you don't need any sort of check and balance or any
sort of license or government oversight.
Exactly, especially with such a class of people that require extra care and help, and I really couldn't believe that.
Yeah, it's problematic because for adults who have challenges, there are so few facilities, and it's such a vulnerable population. And to force that vulnerable population into being in a place that is not carefully scrutinized by either a locality or the federal government, because very often there are federal funds that filter down into these places. It's just so monumentally sad.
All the way around.
That, it is monumentally sad.
I think the plaintiff said it best herself when asked how to avoid types of problems like these. She said you really have to screen them very well, and to put that burden on an already vulnerable population of people, I think someone else should be vetting these places.
Okay, agreed.
Suing her former customer, Ashley Satimi, for slander and the cost of 2 miniature pigs.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, everyone.
Hello, Judge. Case 3029, Garlic versus Simiti.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Garlic, you have a business. I don't know if this is your main business, but you sell miniature pigs.
That is correct. This is one of my major businesses.
How long have you been doing that?
About 18 years.
You have photographs of what your pigs look like?
Sure.
Yeah, take a look at them, please.
Do you want the ones that she got off of me?
No.
Oh, adult ones? I do have some adult ones. There's a couple photos for her.
Okay. I'm going to try to simplify this if I can. And these are babies, or are these?
Those are older ones. They're like a year old, 8 months to a year old.
How much do they weigh?
Typically, if you feed correctly, anywhere from about 12 pounds up to about 40 pounds, about the size of a medium-sized dog.
Okay. And do they live in the house?
These are house pets. So they're litter box trained. I try to train them before they ever leave. I spend a lot of time with that.
Okay. How much do you sell them for?
Typically, my prices range between about $2,000, depending on age and size, up to about $3,500.
And I assume that in this business, the smaller they are,
the more
they cost. Well, just
and
sort of
also
like
the younger they are, the more they cost.
Okay. You were buying these as pets for yourself?
Correct.
And you were going to buy 2?
Yes.
Where did you see the plaintiff advertising the piglets, or did you hear it by word of mouth?
Just Google.
Just tell me what would inspire you to get a pig instead of a dog.
Well, I have 3 dogs and 3 cats. But I went to the state fair and I saw them in the piglets in the birthing barn.
Okay, and you fell in love. Got it.
There we go.
Got it. So you bought 2 pigs. According to both of you, you gave a deposit for the pigs, correct?
Yes. She gave a deposit on each pig because the amount was more and she didn't have enough right then, so she's going to make payments.
Okay. And in total, she paid you how much?
She paid me $1,500 deposit on each piglet, and then she gave me 3 payments of $250 Zelle payments, which she was supposed to pay for $250 every 2 weeks.
Okay, so she paid you $3,750 altogether.
Yes, which she's reversed all that.
I understand.
Oh,
that.
okay.
And the total purchase price for the 2 pigs that she purchased?
Okay, each one was $2,700.
Okay.
And
well, let me go through something that each of you agree on. She purchased 2. You sent them to her.
Correct.
In transit, before she got them, one of them died.
Yes, due to complication of Spain. Okay.
One of them didn't die in your custody.
Correct.
Died in transit.
Correct.
Okay, so we don't know, but we know that certainly the
Correct.
piglet didn't die of old age. It died in transit, so she only received 1.
Right.
At that time. And what was the date of that?
She had it delivered on the 21st of September.
Okay. And when you contracted for these piglets, Miss Satimi, did you sign a contract?
I did not, no.
Did you get any paperwork at all from her?
I have text messages stating the amount owed.
No. Do you have a contract?
Didn't have a contract with her. I did send her multiple
Well, just a second. You didn't have a contract
No.
with her. So you got the pig, and there were no other terms that were agreed to
was.
by both of you in writing other than the price. And what was the total price?
$5,400 is what she owed total.
And of that, she gave you $3,750. Okay. At some point, you took another piglet, Miss Satimi, to replace the one that had died in transit.
No, when Miss
Just a second. Well, you say you did, so you got to get your story straight. At some point, you accepted a second piglet from the plaintiff to replace the one who had died in transit.
It was get the pig or get no money back. So those are my two options.
Just a second. Well, that's true, Miss Satimi, because you don't have a contract with her, according to you, that you can show me. She doesn't either. So in a contract for an animal that I know I've purchased over the last 60 years from a breeder, it usually says that there is a health guarantee until you take the dog to a vet, or if the dog has a congenital illness and it's discovered by a vet, you get either a return of your money or pick of litter. There are all kinds of terms contained in a contract that I know I've always gotten, and so you understand them. If you bought these pigs for her and you bought them without any written conditions, then she has to.
I do have a written thing that was sent to her.
I don't care whether it was sent to her, whether or not she acknowledged it. You can't have a one-sided contract.
Agree.
You understand that.
I do.
You don't have a one-sided contract. So unless she agreed to that someplace, which she clearly did not, that's meaningless, what you're going to show me. And if you pay attention and don't shout out, maybe you'll find out that what I'm saying to her is to your benefit, and you're not supposed to interfere when the fact finder seems to be finding in your favor. So she was under no obligation to return your money.
No, she had.
So I'm just telling you, you accept. The answer is you accepted a second pig.
Yes, I did. Yep.
Was it in September?
It was. I didn't. Yes.
In September. On what date did you accept the second pig?
The second pig, I did not receive that until a month later, which was October 19th.
Fine. So these are a couple of questions I have specifically for you. The first pig that you got from her on September 21st is named what?
That is alive.
Yes.
That is Bacon.
And what did you name the second pig that you got on October 19th?
That was Hammy.
And according to your papers, you took Hammy and Bacon to the vet on the 28th of October.
26th, I brought them to the vet.
That's different from what you said here. I assume you have the paperwork from the vet.
Yep, I got the discharge summary.
Here you say in your answer that you took them on the 28th and you got an estimate for spaying them.
I went on the 26th, and at that point I found out that the pigs were not spayed as per...
As per what?
As per our conversation. I had conversations saying that the pig will be spayed. And on the 26th, I went to the vet, found out it was not spayed, and said, how much would it be to spay? I got a quote on the 28th, and that is...
Did you take the pigs back for the quote?
No.
So you,
they were spayed.
Just a second. I'm talking.
Okay.
You don't want me just to dismiss
No,
your whole
I-
case.
No.
Right? Which I'm thoroughly prepared to do. I have other things to do today. All I know is you brought in 2 healthy pigs shortly after being seen by the vet, who described the pigs as happy and healthy. One of them died. What does that have to do with her? They're in your care. What does that have to do with her?
Karen Garlick claims her former customer, Ashley Satimi, slandered her business and owes for the cost of 2 miniature pigs. Ashley is countersuing for vet bills.
On the 26th, you took the pigs to the vet.
Correct.
Were the pigs given ivermectin?
Yes.
Both of them?
Yes.
May I see, by the way, the vet papers from that date?
Absolutely. Would you like the quote as well, or just the?
I don't want the quote. I want the vet's notes. So you had both pigs from the 19th of October until you took the pigs to the vet on the 26th. So the 19th, 20th, 21st, 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
Yep is not an answer. Yes. And when you went to the vet for the pigs, according to you, the pigs were, and according to the vet,
Yep. Yes.
the pigs were healthy, according to you, playful. I'm going to read what they said.
Wouldn't say
Just
healthy.
just a second. Well, that's what it says.
It says they have mites, mange,
No. What I'm
parasites.
telling you is
Underweight.
what they said. Bacon, who you still have.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. And Hammy presented for examination. When Hammy arrived, she had a pendulous belly that the breeder attributed to a parasite, and she was dewormed with a product provided by the breeder, after which this appearance resolved. This is according to you. This is what you gave the vet. And Hammy began to gain weight.
Yes.
Both pigs are bright and active at home with excellent appetites. So far, that's what the vet is getting from you about the pigs.
Yep.
That they're both happy, healthy. She gave you stuff to deworm them. Hammy started to gain weight. And then the vet gave them this medicine. And 2 days later, Hammy died. This is from your history to the vet, that the pigs were fine. The vet gave both pigs this very strong medication, and I want you to describe what happened to the pig the day after you came back from the vet.
Perfectly fine.
Okay.
And can I just say that the ivermectin, that's the same stuff that Karen gave me.
Who knows how much the vet gave them? All I know is you brought in 2 healthy pigs
Yep.
shortly after being seen by the vet, who described the pigs as happy and healthy. One of them died. What does that have to do with her? They're in your care. What does that have to do with her?
Well, you're saying it was the medication. It's the same medication that was given.
It depends upon how much medication you give an animal.
This was a swine specialist.
Listen, I don't care, madam. I want you to understand that, A, you have no health guarantee. But even if you had a health guarantee, what I'm reading from the vet is you reported that the pigs were fine, happy and healthy. She had given you a certain amount of this to get rid of the parasites, which you reported to the vet worked. And then the pig is seen by the vet, who gives the pig more of that toxic if taken in too high a dose, and died.
That's not the reason it died.
I'm reading your papers. How many days after Hammy was given this dose by the vet did the pig die? How many days after? I'm reading you. I have your papers.
3.
Well, then maybe you did something 3 days later. Maybe you fed it something wrong. It's not her problem. It's your problem.
What about
by that time, she has sent you a piglet that you've had for 10 days. Now, how many pigs do you have that were purchased from her that you currently have home?
1.
Okay. And that would be bacon.
Correct.
What was the total price for bacon?
$750.
Well, that's not what bacon cost.
Bacon cost $2,500.
27.
$2,500. If you can look at my text messages that I
Okay,
have
may
here.
I see the text message, please?
These are two of
Hold
them.
on.
She's got confirmations on that one on the second page as well.
Okay, cash price $4,900, Karen. Finance price is always more. I don't charge interest. Me. This is what I think is fair. I owe you $4,900 for the 2 pigs. I gave you $3,000. I owe you $1,900. PayPal took $90 because I did the PayPal protection. I will absolve. You mean absorb that and round the remaining out to $2,000. I pay you $250 each week.
Every other week.
And she says, okay. So now we have a contract. Perfect. Would that be okay? Yes. And then you say, do they have any vaccines yet? Yes, they will be vaccinated. So you agree on that. Do you have any warranty on the pigs? This is September 20th. I don't want to accept delivery of brown one if they are sick and going to die in a few weeks. Yes. 90-day replacement. Okay. 90-day replacement is what she says. Not your money back. 90-day replacement. That's your contract. Could you please now show me where she agrees to, I don't see it, and I don't want to look through this whole thing. Show me where the price includes spaying.
That would be on her website.
No, it's not on the website.
No.
I have a...
Just a second. Show me there, which is what I asked you for, there in the messages.
Better. How about a voicemail from her where she has stated that they're going to be...
Could you just do me a favor, madam? Yeah. Would you show me there?
I believe it is a verbal voicemail from her. I don't believe it is written. I believe it's verbal voicemail.
What do you mean you believe?
I don't think it's in this.
So it's not in that.
I will continue looking.
Yeah,
but I know
continue
that I have
Continue looking.
I will.
It's not in there. No. Okay. Now you say you have a voicemail where she says that the $4,900 includes spaying. I'll hear it.
I absolutely do.
By the way, were they 2 females that were brought?
Females.
Okay.
Your Honor, I spay all the males, but I never spay females.
Listen to me.
Okay.
She says she has a voicemail that says that the $4,900 for the 2 pigs includes spaying.
I'd like to see
She says she has it. I want to see it.
I also have a loss. You know, I shouldn't have got it spayed before it went, but that was my understanding is you wanted it done.
Just explain to me, this says, if I'm hearing correctly, that one of the piglets was spayed.
Yes, I have documents from the vet.
May I see them, please?
That is not true.
Karen Garlick is accusing her former customer, Ashley Satimi, of refusing to pay for the piglets she purchased. Ashley claims she received sick piglets, and Karen owes for the vet bills.
Okay. The person, I don't know where we'll give it to Sarah.
And
It should be 40 seconds.
So we're both at a loss with this because I haven't had this happen either. You know, I understand where you're upset you lost the one. So please get a hold of me so we can get something worked out because I understand your frustration, but you got to understand mine as well. I also have a loss. You know, I shouldn't have got it spayed before it went, but that was my understanding is you wanted it done prior to going, and that's the discussion I had gotten from you, and so I went and got that done. Plus, you couldn't take her until after the 17th, so we had to arrange the shipping, you know, after that point, so the other one's getting delivered also tonight. But, you know, this kind of puts me in a predicament.
Just explain to me, this says, if I'm hearing correctly, that one of the piglets was spayed.
they both were spayed. The one that died was spayed. That's why it died, in my professional opinion. I went through 4 years of veterinary technology school as well.
Okay, so the one that died, the one that didn't make it in transit, was spayed.
Yes, correct.
Just a second.
And the other one.
And Bacon.
Evidence. Bacon and Hammy, whatever the first one she called. I don't
Were both spayed.
Yes, I have documents from the vet.
May I see them, please?
That is not true.
And
I actually
receipt.
spoke with her, and she said
There's the
her
receipt.
son mixed it up.
Birth dates are on there from the vet, and the
Just
color and
sister.
everything.
Just a second.
I actually called the vet as well.
You can't tell me what the vet said to you. What color are the pigs that you got?
They are chipmunk colored, but there are multiple in their litter. She tried selling me two.
Just to answer my question.
they're chipmunk
What are
color.
they? They're chipmunk
They're just
color.
brown, yep.
One of them striped
I'm not sure what you would consider.
That's what
straight.
chipmunks is called, striped.
and red and white.
That was the one for sure.
They were both spayed on September 13th.
Correct.
Now tell me, you went to reverse all the charges that you had paid for her because you had paid her a certain amount of money, $3,750. Did you get all that money back?
No.
How much did you get back?
$3,000.
And then the Zelle account suspended that.
Just a second.
They took it from me, and they've got to suspend it because she claimed
Just
I
a
was
second.
fraudulent.
Just a second. She now has 2 pigs. What happened to them in her care is, as you understand, is not.
I have one.
I don't care whether you have one now, madam. I just told you you had 2 pigs that were healthy according to the vet. After you had had the replacement pig for over 10 days, it died after it had seen a vet that reported it healthy. You say it was 3 days. If it was the next day, I would say it was the shot the vet gave him that caused her to die. But you said it was 3 days later. I don't know what you fed it. I don't know what you did to it. I don't know who else took care of it. It's irrelevant. She's entitled to her money. for 2 pigs. And if you had that reversed by the bank, you can't do that. You had a 90-day replacement for the pigs, and she replaced it, and she has received 0 money.
$750.
That's 0 money.
I don't have it. And I don't believe that it's on hold either.
It is.
Just a second. You don't have what?
The $750 I sent her, I did a dispute on it, and they said that because it was not fraudulent, she still has it.
For the $5,000 that these 2 pigs cost, you paid, according to you, $750.
That's correct.
Well, you owe her the rest.
For,
You owe her the money. I'm finding, now we're finished.
Okay.
Now we're finished with testimony, and I'm telling you that the death of one of the pigs, you have one, the death of the other one, happened in your care. Whatever it was, if you don't want to blame the vet, blame yourself, not her. You had a healthy pig when that pig went to the vet over a week after it arrived from her. So it's your fault, and you owe her the rest of the money. Did you get the $750 from her? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
No. You owe her $4,900 for the 2 pigs. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're
have a
finished.
counterclaim.
It's dismissed.
This court is adjourned.
My slander.
It's
over.
dismissed.
Okay.
I tell you one other thing. If you post anything derogatory about her business again, she's going to see you back in court, either mine or somebody else's. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Some people think they get something for nothing anymore, and it's just the way it is. People try to cheat you.
You know, I got 3 pigs from her. 2 of them died.
You know, I get so attached because I'm very passionate about my animals. I'm very passionate about my business and my customers.
And 2 out of 3, that's not a good record.
So this is just really heart set to me because
2 pigs dying, there's something goofy going on there.
anytime a little animal dies like that, I take heart.
Moral of the case, if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on a pet, have a contract in writing as to what your expectations are so that you have a price, you have whatever guarantees there are, you have whatever exchange policies there are. Because what happened in there is I had to create a contract out of
Nothing, out of text
mails,
voicemails.
out of text messages. I agreed to pay. Yes, well, that's a meeting of the minds as to a term. But that's an unprofessional way of the plaintiff to deal with a business that is a substantial business if she has 18 pigs. And it's really not a smart way for the defendant, to whom money is important, $5,000 has to be important to her, would go into a business arrangement without a formal writing.
Yeah, and just a secondary point that I was thinking of is we would want that contract to exist for anything, for a car, for a transfer of funds, but especially you want those details and those guarantees for a life. You're talking about a living
Right,
animal.
right.
And I think that requires, from both ends, a lot more words, a lot more sign pages, something more.
It requires a contract.
A contract.
It requires a contract. And she's in the breeding business. She's been doing it for 18 years. She should have a contract.
Listing whatever her
business.
terms may be. Maybe it's you don't get a refund, but I'll send you, replacement. That's perfectly fine. But all of those expectations should be laid
in a
out.
contract.
Keith Pasquarello is suing his former landlord, Brandon Hubbard, for destruction of property, a security deposit, and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 3037, Pasquarello versus Hubbard.
Oh, my goodness. Mr. Pasquarello, you all seem to have a lot of things that you brought to me, and I actually think that you're all overthinking this case. I, however, am not overthinking it. It's relatively simple. You rented a room from the defendant in a house that you own.
Yes, ma'am.
It didn't work out. They didn't like he and his girlfriend. Fiance didn't get along with you. You didn't get along with them. You had problems with each other's lifestyles. You are no longer there, and you want your security deposit back, which I, of course, will entertain. But you're asking for emotional distress, nuisance, filing a false restraining order, harassment. That's not happening. I want you to get over that. You had a tenancy that didn't work out. And if it didn't work out, and if you didn't do anything to the property, you're entitled to your security deposit back. You moved in when?
December 1st.
What do you do for a living?
I own a company,
What kind of company?
It's a janitorial company.
For how long?
Approximately 9 years.
Do you have employees?
Yes,
How many?
approximately 20.
You pay him on the books or off the books?
On?
Was this an interim room that you were renting from him, or were you planning on staying here for a long time?
It was a 6-month lease.
Is there any reason why you took a room, if you have a company for 9 years with 20 employees, that you pay on the books, that you were living in a room?
Yes, I'm going through a divorce. I moved to Los Angeles 2007 and got with my wife for 15 years. We're going through a divorce, and during the pandemic, she was raised in Riverside, so I had to follow her all the way to Riverside because she has 3 of my children. I don't have any family or friends here on this side of the country. I'm from Florida. So I was by myself, and I had to rent a room by myself.
And the children stayed with their mother in the house, in your
Yes,
property?
we are currently going through a custody battle.
So what you're telling me is that a room was what you could afford?
That's all I could afford at the moment.
Okay.
We're still going through community property.
Okay. So you found his room.
I was moving from one house to another because they were selling their home. The housing market is very, very bad right now. It's very hard to find rent in what I can afford. So I found his, along with 2 others, and I liked his location, and I moved in under the lease agreement that he presented to me.
Okay. So he presented a lease agreement to you. You signed it. You have a copy of it.
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Your Honor, there's a couple of discrepancies with
Just
what
a
you told
second.
me. Sorry.
I didn't ask you anything yet. There are no discrepancies. He rented a room from you and he signed a lease. I asked him to see the lease.
He started moving his belongings in November 13th of 22.
And
And he officially moved himself in on December 1st.
why is that important?
When he moved in, he brought a refrigerator into the house that was infested with roaches.
Just a second. Do you have a copy of the lease?
Yes, I do.
I'm trying to
just
go
like-
through it. I have so much here that...
I know, you have a lot there.
Okay. Here it is. I found it, by the way.
All right, there's a very big lease with your signature on it on November 7th. Okay, so now I have the lease. You moved in on December 12th. When did you move out?
When my girlfriend got back from her trip from Spain and Italy is when I was able to move, because she was able to help me. I couldn't do it by myself. I don't remember the exact
You
date.
have
as
the
soon as-
date when he moved out?
Yes. So I have a timeline here. 4/21, he moved out. And at that point,
Okay,
he still had time.
4/21.
Yep.
And what was the monthly rent, sir?
1,000.
And how much was your security?
500. If I could say, Your Honor, I'm not here because we had a little spat.
No, I know you didn't have a spat. It was a terrible 4 months.
It's a breach of a lease, Your Honor. I mean, they had 3 rules. It says it right here in his lease, 3 rules and regulations. And on the 17th, I got a new set of rules. Then I was only told I can do my laundry once a week. Then I was told that my girlfriend couldn't stay past 9 o'clock. The rules were changing as they went on, making my life a living hell.
Well, then you move. How old are you?
I'm going to be 50, and this
You're
is my
going to be
very
50.
first...
Just a second, you're going to be 50.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, rules are what people live by. I assume that that's one of the reasons that you're going through a divorce and you have custody, unless it was a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I don't know which one it was, and I actually don't care. What I'm telling you is, if something is terrible and you're 50 years old, you say, I'm done here. I'm leaving.
I was going to do that, Your Honor. I was looking for places to stay. The housing market is almost impossible in my...
So what is, that's not his fault. That's your fault.
It's not his fault for taking away my quiet peace and enjoyment of life? Filming me with my cameras in the house, not telling me I'm being monitored?
Let me explain something to you, sir. You're a big boy. I say this to people all the time. You don't like where you're staying, move.
I could.
Sometimes I have sympathy for somebody who is really down and out, and they say, I really can't cobble the money together to find month's rent and a month's security. I was trying to save my money. That's not in your case. You've had a business for 9 years with 20 employees who you pay on the books, and you have 3 children. So that's not your situation. What I'm telling you is, not everything is a lawsuit. And I know that you're suing him for $10,000 because he violated the peaceful enjoyment of your life. Okay? Move. So, I don't necessarily believe it, but I actually find it amusing for a lawyer to tell you, well, stop paying rent and you'll deal with it when you come up with an unlawful detainer because you are staying without paying rent.
Keith Pasquarello claims his former landlord, Brandon Hubbard, destroyed his property and harassed him. Brandon is countersuing for pest control fees and filing a false restraining order.
You're a grown man. You run a big business. You're not supposed to stay in a place that's terrible.
Judge, the business is in community property right now, and
I don't care. That's not his fault.
I don't own the full business. I don't get the full money.
Hey, I'm telling you, I asked you what you did. You said, I own a business. I have 20 employees. It's a janitorial business, and I needed a place right away. I took his room, and what I'm telling you is, you have a car?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Where does your girlfriend live?
She lives 2 cities away.
Okay, well.
But there's another aspect of this, Your Honor. That's why there's so much evidence up here. I was being harassed so much that I didn't know what to do anymore. I was given advice by an attorney, stop paying him, and you will deal with it when you go to the unlawful detainer hearing, and we'll see if it gets solved there.
You went to an attorney? Just a second.
Yes.
You consulted with an attorney who gave you advice?
Yes.
Is this an attorney that you knew who worked for you? Or is this someone that you found that was a specialist in this field of landlord and tenant?
It's someone that was a specialist in this field. Problem is, this is Riverside and this is Los Angeles. He's a Los Angeles.
I don't care. Now, lawyers don't work for free. What did he charge you?
Nothing. It was a consultation.
Charged you nothing for a consultation?
It was a 20-minute conversation.
20 minutes?
Yes.
I get a bill for 20 minutes for $750. I don't know how you got your consultation for nothing. So, and I don't necessarily believe it, but I actually find it amusing for a lawyer to tell you, well, stop paying rent and you'll deal with it when you come up with an unlawful detainer because you are staying without paying rent.
Your Honor, I filed an incident with Fair Housing. I called the police 4 times.
I'm telling you to move.
I couldn't move, Your Honor.
What are you?
I couldn't move. I couldn't
Okay,
move.
Mr. Pasquarello, I can't help you, sir. You want your security deposit back? I have to see if you left a mess. If you didn't leave a mess, then you get your $500 security back. Except, I have a question. Did you pay December's rent?
Yes, yes.
Did you pay January's rent?
Yes.
February?
Yes.
March?
You did not pay February.
Don't speak. Sorry. March's rent.
I didn't pay March or April, but it was already litigated.
No. I don't care. You moved out April 21.
Yes.
Did you pay March's rent? I'm going to ask you for proof.
I don't believe I paid March's
Okay,
rent.
so you didn't pay March's rent of $1,000. So already you don't get your security deposit back.
But he was already awarded this in a previous case.
What? Previous case?
In the previous case, he was awarded in the unlawful detainer hearing. The judge granted him March and April.
Oh, so he got March and April's rent?
Yeah, he got March and he didn't receive it.
And just a second. Yeah. Did you pay him March and April's rent?
No, I haven't. Not at the moment.
Well, I'm not an appellate court. You have to go get that from someplace, sir. You have to get that from him. You have to file a judgment. You have to attach his business. You have to do what you have to do. If the judge awarded you March and April, which I would have considered. Anyway, Mr. Pasquarello, I'm done with your case. I'm going to get to the counterclaim. You're not entitled to security deposit back because you didn't pay rent for 2 months. Okay, now let's get to your counterclaim. You had a hearing before a judge in an unlawful detainer?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and you testified? Speak.
Sorry.
That's either a yes or a no. Did you testify?
Yes.
Somebody say, raise your right hand and you swear to tell the truth? And judge asked you questions?
Yes.
And you answered questions?
Correct.
Did the same thing for him?
Yes.
And they ordered him to pay the 2 months' rent?
Yes.
And then he left?
Yes.
And he's no longer living with you as of April 21st?
Correct.
Okay. What did you tell that judge that he owed you aside from rent? Is not an answer. What did you tell the judge that he owed you other than March and April's rent?
I told the judge that he owed me for the court harassment hearings.
Now, just a second. I'd like to see where you not from a book that you have.
Sorry.
Show me where you told the judge other things that you were claiming he did, including the parking fines in the development.
So this is everything that he owes me here.
I didn't ask you for everything he owes you.
with the
That's not what I asked you. I said, what did you tell the judge in the previous hearing that he owed you?
I only asked for the back rent due.
Oh, so what are you showing me?
This was for the small claims case.
Just a second. So after you went before a housing court to get him out because he hadn't paid rent, you went to small claims court.
I was just responding to a civil case that he had filed against me.
Well, his civil case is dismissed. Okay?
That's what
He hasn't paid a judgment that he owes. May I see that, please?
Your Honor, he also asked the judge. Okay, he also, okay,
Just a second.
sure.
Okay. Value of the remainder of the lease. That you're not getting.
Okay.
You happy to see him go?
Yes.
Great, he's gone. Court filing fees. I may think about that because he stopped paying rent on the advice of some idiot lawyer that he followed, this man who owns a business. Sheriff's filing fees. What fees were that for? For the unlawful
to serve
detainer?
him the eviction paperwork to post it on the door.
Crisis management fees. What is that?
That was for my advice to with the lawyer.
You don't get that. A valve that went over something?
Oh, his parking ticket.
Yeah, he got a parking fine when he was living there.
Oh, well, I have that. A parking fine.
Yes.
Are you responsible for that?
Yes, I had already paid it. I have
All
the
right,
receipt
can I
here.
see how much was the parking fine?
The parking fine was $50.
Okay. Did you know that you got a violation, sir, Mr. Pasquarella, when you were parking?
Yes, Judge, I would love to explain that. In one of the text messages that I have, Allie, his fiance, threatened to have my car ticketed. I have been living at Canyon Lake for 3 years. I had never even came close to getting a ticket. Ironically, 2 weeks later, I get a ticket right after she threatens to have my car ticketed to the POA. Now, to my understanding, she's been in Canyon Lake for a very, very long time, since she was a little girl, and she has relationships there. I
don't know that. You can't prove any of that, sir. You got a ticket.
So
you got a ticket. They have a picture. You have a car that the license plate is.
I also have a text message of her saying she's going to
Just a
get my
second.
car
I'm just
ticketed.
asking you whether that's your license plate.
Yes, it is. When the harassment wouldn't stop, I filed a restraining order.
Well, this is your filing against him.
So I did file one once he started getting aggressive.
What happened with those cases?
His was.
Don't speak from your chair. Do you hear me?
Keith Pasquarello has accused his former landlord, Brandon Hubbard, of destroying his property and harassing him. Brandon is countersuing for breaching the lease and filing a false restraining order.
This is a filing fee for small claims court. That you're not getting.
Your Honor, I wouldn't have to have
Writ
any
of
of this money out
possession
of
is
pocket.
$40. Is that what you're talking about, the writ of possession?
Yes.
That you're entitled to because he stopped paying rent. So far, he owes you $90 for the filing fee.
And then I have another receipt for no return of the POA ID card or the POA decal for his car.
What is that?
Because we live in a gated community, you have an ID card that they give you and a decal that they put on your car so you don't get tickets. Or if you do get a ticket, they know whose house to send it to. And that was $100 each, and I have a receipt for that.
Can I see what he's showing you?
And it says his name right at the top.
Did you pay this bill?
I did.
Would you please, Kevin, show this to the plaintiff? You know what that's for? It's your name on it.
It's a POA card. That card was thrown away in the trash. I mean, I don't have no use for it.
Then that's a problem. Then you owe him $200. That's $290. Anything else, sir?
I believe that the small claims fee is...
Forget it. I'm not giving you the small claims fee. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
I lost another tenant due to Keith's behavior.
Let's go. Let's go.
And
let's move on. Move on.
He owes me $900 in lost rent from that other tenant.
No, he doesn't.
Because he's
I said let's move on.
Okay.
So far, he owes you $290.
And the court harassment filing fees. They're charging me $450 to respond to a restraining order that he put forth.
Oh, just a minute. Did you file a restraining order against him?
I sure did.
Okay. And when did you file that?
I don't remember the exact date.
Do you have the date? If you don't remember the date, do you have
It was
the
January
date?
28th.
January 28th.
That was the day I was served with the paperwork. And
of
my,
2023.
Yes. My witness was also served with one, too.
Just a second. My question, Mr. Pasquarella. You moved out in April of 2022?
23, he moved out.
23. And when did you file this harassment case against him for an order of protection?
I don't remember the exact date.
Well, can I see the papers, please?
I believe I have them here.
When the harassment wouldn't stop, I filed a restraining order.
Okay, so March 27th. That's a response. Hold on. Let's see if I have the actual filing date.
Can I see it, please?
2023. Here's the receipt for the 145 for the evictions process.
I can't hear a word you're saying, sir. I'm reading.
Okay.
Well, this is your filing against him.
So I did file one a month later once he started getting aggressive.
Okay, so he filed one and you filed one. So you both bothered the courts.
Yes.
Both of you. What happened with those cases?
Why don't you
His
fill
was-
in
Don't
the
speak
videos?
from your chair. Do you hear me? What happened with those cases?
They were both dropped.
Mine was dismissed by the judge. The
I
judge
just,
said
were they both dismissed?
both
Yes, they were
dismissed.
both dismissed.
That's the answer. You owe him, Mr. Pasquarella, $290. We are finished. Your claim is dismissed. Goodbye.
This court is adjourned.
throwing my property away, you know, blaming me for a roach problem they already had.
He moved a little mini fridge in that apparently was roach infested.
I was done with it months ago, many months ago, but unfortunately I couldn't move. I'm in a town where, you know, I don't have any friends or family to help me. I just met my girlfriend, and I'm not going to bring this luggage on her. So
he was trying to squat for free in order to save money to move somewhere else. I don't know what he was trying to do.
I'm ready to move forward, but the thing I'm disappointed about is not even the money necessarily. It's about there's no protection for tenants.
Watch out and really understand your lease before you sign it.
You know, Sarah, I understand that you don't completely agree with the premise that I start from.
Sure.
If you hate where you're living and you have any capability at all, you shouldn't stay there. And then if you leave and your landlord sues you for breach of the lease because you've moved out, and if you have a legitimate reason why you moved out, that you were being harassed, that your landlord was a peeping Tom, that he would come into your house at night and go through your underwear drawers, whatever it was, and we've had all of those, then you entertain that and say you hate an absolute right to break his lease. I don't get, and the example that I always give and have given for a quarter of a century is, if you go to a restaurant and you order a sirloin steak and the waiter brings it over and you cut it and you taste it, you say, oh my God, this steak is bad. And you proceed to finish the steak, and when the bill comes, you say, it was the worst steak I ever ate, I'm not paying the bill. Not in my world. In my world, if you cut into the steak and say, you know what, I'm not eating this steak that costs $42, bring me a bowl of Cheerios for $12, that I can understand, and that's fair. But if you stay in the house and eat the steak, and there's not something that really prohibits you. I mean, if you're somebody who's challenged and you're living in a small group home, and it's not easy for you to find another facility, that's a whole different ball of wax. This is a man who says he's a CEO of a company with 20 employees. That's what he told me. And he's living in a place where he feels harassed and his girlfriend can't stay past 9 o'clock. You know, I have zero sympathy for that.
I can appreciate that. I think just the undertones, this particular situation, I may agree with you a little bit more after hearing your reasoning, but I do think it can be more challenging than you and I realize on occasion to move. I mean, that can be a big deal. And of course, he held himself out as a CEO with 20 employees in a what he said was successful business. I'm thinking that that wasn't the case, and he was a little maybe too embarrassed to state that, but that was my position. So
yeah, but that's the answer he gave.
If you have the opportunity to leave, that's what you should do. I agree with that.
And he left. And he came here with his girlfriend. Now, I don't know if they're living in the same place now, but certainly she would come to visit him. That was one of the things that he was objecting to, that you couldn't stay past 9 o'clock. Well, so you put your tushy in the car and you go to her house, which is 2 cities away. I have zero sympathy. If you ate the steak, you're supposed to pay for it. So you were at the park.
She came up to fight me. That is not true.
It seems as if somebody was kicking somebody.
That was me. I kicked her.
That was your fault.
Yes, ma'am.
Love a person who tells the truth all the time.
This is Judy Justice. Bailiff Cassandra Britt is standing in for Bailiff Kevin Roscoe, and Law Clerk Alexi Mincer is sitting in for Law Clerk Sarah Rose. Honesty Butler is suing her former friend, Walteria Flowers, for the cost of a car and stolen property.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Good morning, Judge. Case 3074, Butlers versus Flowers.
Thank you. Miss Butler, how long have you and Miss Flowers been friends?
We became friends around the summer of 2022.
How?
We both lived in South Carolina, and then we both moved to Jacksonville, so it's kind of like we were just friends.
Did you see each other often before you decided that you wanted to buy her car?
Yes, ma'am. She used to come and pick me up all the time. And then I used to see her around the town that we lived in before we moved back to Jacksonville.
You didn't have a car?
No, ma'am.
Did you have a driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever have a car?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened to it?
I wrecked it.
You broke it?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you do that?
It was my fault. It was a failure to yield.
Oh, so there was a crash?
Yes, ma'am.
That was your fault?
Yes, ma'am.
On what day did you have a conversation with Miss Flowers about purchasing her car?
It was December 12th.
Of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car was it?
It's a 2010 Chevy Malibu.
When did you purchase it?
It was 2021, March 2021.
And why were you getting rid of it?
Because I had another car and I was getting another car too, so.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid $8,000.
Lexi, would you look up a 2010 Chevy Malibu?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2-door, 4-door, I don't even know how many doors.
4-door.
How many miles did it have on it when you purchased it?
It was 130.
Now, interesting, because a year later, you agreed to sell the defendant that same car for how much?
I agreed to sell it to her for $4,500, but I was selling it as is.
Just a second.
Okay.
Go back. We're going to get to as is in a second.
Okay.
That's not the final price you agreed on with her based upon these records.
No, ma'am.
What was the final price you agreed?
It was $4,000.
Is that right?
No, ma'am.
It was $3,500.
Yes, ma'am.
So the ultimate price that you agreed to sell the car for was $3,500.
No, ma'am. It was $4,000.
Show me. Show me 35.
Ma'am.
Private party, fair condition, between $6,000 to $7,800 for fair
6,000 to 78.
$6,000 to $7,800.
Thank you. Okay, well, it was $4,000, but because of things wrong with the car, you said I'll take off $500 from the original price because there were more things wrong with the car than she originally thought. Is that what happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, it sounds to me, even at $4,000, you got a pretty good deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Because of what Lexi has told me about the current value of the car, which is the low end, $6,000, and at $3,500, even I would buy that car. It was a great value. This is what your case is about. It is your claim that you made all but $100 worth of the payments
Yes, ma'am.
on the car, and then the defendant, unbeknownst to you, came to your house at night and repossessed the car.
Yes, ma'am.
You say you only owed her $100.
Yes, ma'am.
Defendant says you owed her $7,000, but I think she's relying on the $4,000 figure. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's where the discrepancy is, and you took the car back.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Part of that had to do with, I gather, the two of you having an argument.
Yes, ma'am.
We fought.
Two of you having an argument. I'll get to that in a second. So you have a counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am.
You want the money back that you put into the car.
Well, not actually what I paid for the car and also the belongings that was in the car.
Okay, let's get rid of the belongings. She did have some stuff in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have it with you?
Yes, ma'am. I have some of it with me, like her debit card and her purse that she had in there.
Okay, and what about the iPad?
She never had an iPad in there.
Okay.
I took a picture of everything.
Okay, Cassandra, would you go over there, please? Take all of that stuff and move it over to the other table. Those cards belong to her?
Oh, this one's my ID.
Okay. So now you want back what you paid for the car.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant says you didn't finish paying for it. She had every right to repossess it. Let's take care of the car first.
Yes, ma'am.
How long did you drive the car?
From December of 2022 to May of 2023.
The beginning of December?
No, ma'am. Around the middle, like,
all right,
my
so,
first payment was on the 12th.
Okay. When did you repossess the car?
I got it June 4th.
So let's make it January, February, March, April, May. So you had the car 5 months.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have the car now.
Yes, ma'am.
So she owed you really $100 when you took it back. Who paid the insurance on this car?
Everything was still in her name.
So she paid for the insurance. Is that right? Did you have insurance on the car or not?
No, ma'am.
No. Let me understand this. She's driving around with a car that's in your name that doesn't have insurance on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is the car now?
It's parked in my yard.
Where's the title to it?
I have it.
I'd like to see it. And you repossessed the car just a few months ago, is that right?
No, ma'am. June 4th. Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay.
Great. Where's the back of this title?
I just sent it as evidence. I don't have the title with me, but that's the title. It's in my name.
Have her sign this. You're signing over the title to the car for her. Sign it over. I'll notify. Sign it over to her. We're going to give you the $100 that she owes you. Sign it over to her. You do understand, Miss Flowers, you came here to court today from where?
Jacksonville, Florida.
And you want to get home, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you got an appearance fee for coming here?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. All that's being withheld until you sign the title over to her. Do you understand?
Okay.
Great. Okay. So now you're going to have 5 days to get your car.
Your Honor.
And I'm awarding her on her counterclaim. You got your property back. I'm awarding her on her counterclaim. So far, $100, because that's what you owed her on the car. And it was done a few weeks ago. The car is there. Within 5 days, with a marshal, go and pick up your car. Do you understand? Okay. Within 5 days of today's date, she's coming to pick up the car with a marshal. Don't do anything to the car because you're not getting any cash until she has the car.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Perfect.
Honesty Butler claims her former friend, Walteria Flowers, owes for the cost of a car and stolen property. Walteria is countersuing for the balance of the car and an assault.
Now, let's get to your counterclaim. I've already given you the remainder owed on the car, which is $100. But now your counterclaim is about an assault. Tell me when this assault took place.
It took place on June 3rd.
And what date did you retrieve the car, just from my memory?
It was June 4th. Well, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so it was right after this fight?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So why don't you tell me what happened?
Me and her, after, we got into the little argument about the car, I blocked her on everything and I just told her what she owed me. So she proceeds to threaten me, saying she would be at my house in my car, her and her cousin. So me and my...
Can I see what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she tell this to you on the phone or in texts?
In text, miss.
I'd like to see the text.
I have a voice recording of her saying it.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to see that. It's even better. Though I'm deaf, it's even better. Now, is this argument, by the way, while you're looking for it, this argument was about the balance due on the car?
Yes, ma'am. It was something before that, but then it led to the car. I guess it's the service in here. It's having trouble.
You don't have service?
If you don't have service on the phone so I can hear it, I'll look at the texts.
Okay. Right here. Okay, yeah, this.
Thank you. Okay, so before I read these, I gather from the plaintiff there was an incident that preceded June the 3rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And tell me on what date that incident was.
Okay, June 3rd, we got into this.
Well, I know what happened on June 3rd, but that was about the car.
Oh, no, ma'am. It was earlier that day that we was talking about whatever happened.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell me about that?
Okay, so it was something going around on social media about people being behind a fake page or whatever. So I was exposed on a fake page. She was exposed
on a fake
Snapchat or something. It was something like people saying bad stuff about people on the Snapchat. So
you understand that?
No.
Okay, so it was someone
I
made.
thought it was a younger thing, and I just didn't understand it. So that's
Okay, someone.
Explain it to him.
Okay, someone made, Snapchat, right? Okay, someone made a Snapchat that nobody knows, like, who it belongs to. They posted pictures of me on there saying, bad stuff about me. They posted something about her also, and about my baby's father and, other people. So, Honesty texts one of the girls that they thought it was behind it and told them that it was me. By me and her still being friends, I was lost, like, why would you text someone that's not even friends with you saying that it was me? So she said, and I have it in the text message, in the evidence. She says that, and if I did said it, y'all shouldn't be behind fake pages anyways. Y'all too grown for that. Keep me out of that. So I said, to solve all that, just pay me the money you owe me. To make it fair, just pay the money you owe me for the car, and I sign over the title, and we have nothing else to talk about. Then I blocked her. So then she gets on Instagram and texts me and made a voice message about, oh, I don't owe you such and such. I'll be at your house when I get off in your car or whatever to fight. So me and my friends was at this park called Lonnie C. And Honesty came out there and went live, was on Facebook Live, and I have the video, and was saying all kind of stuff on the live about me towards me. And that's when she came up to fight me, like at the park.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Yes.
Okay.
I have the evidence.
Did you?
Yes. Rumors were being spread, but
on the internet.
On the internet. No one knows the source of the rumors. And then there were some allegations that maybe it was the defendant who was the source of the rumors. Right. Says not true, escalated, and then started live streaming a fight.
Right. She gets.
Ooh, okay. You have the live stream?
Okay.
Okay. So we just hit the play.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You can hit that play button right there.
Lie, you a lying. I got all the messages, and don't play with me about no $700, because bitch, I will be at your house when I get off work. Hold on, play with me. I don't owe you no $700, and you know I don't. You better find somebody to play with, bitch.
Works and plays well with others. Isn't that a check-off sign someplace? Okay, tell me what happened when you met with each other.
I was at the park already, me and my friends, the witness.
What were you doing at a park? How old are you?
I'm 21.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in nursing school.
How old are your children?
8 months and 2 years old.
Who do you live with?
It's me and my boyfriend. We got a house.
Boyfriend, the father of these two children?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were at the park with your friend with your children?
Oh, no, ma'am. It's just me, my friend, and my other friends. They always have stuff at the park, so.
Where were your children?
Well, one was in South Carolina, and the other one was with her grandmother.
Which one was in South Carolina?
My 2-year-old.
Who was in South Carolina?
I'm from South Carolina, so my family is there.
Who was the baby with?
Oh, her godmother.
Why?
Because we just sent her down there occasionally to be with her godparents.
Okay. So you were at the park. You went to the park.
No, ma'am, that is not true. I was with my friends and my cousin, and they had a graduation party. My friends was there. We went there after work. We was at the park first, which I can pull up the video and show you we was at the park first. They came to the park afterwards. I did not hit her first. She walked up to me because in the video, you're going to hear my friend saying, friend, turn around, turn around. She hit me, and I don't understand how it's assault because as they're breaking up the fight, none of the people I was with
May I
broke up the
see your
fight.
video
Yes,
where
ma'am.
she hit you first? I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Honesty Butler has accused her former friend, Walteria Flowers, of taking her car without permission. Walteria is countersuing, claiming Honesty assaulted her after taking the car back.
She's going to show me a video, Miss Flowers.
Yes, ma'am.
And her video, according to her, let me just get this straight, is going to show you hitting her first.
No, ma'am, it's not.
It's not. I'm sorry. It's not going to show her hitting me first, but it's going to show me walking, and my friend is going to be saying, turn around, turn around. When I turned around and basically I dropped my phone, she hit me, and that's when we went to fight.
But that's not going to be on the video.
You're kind of going to see it a little bit.
All right, I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
A little bit is better than nothing, usually. You have also things that you want me to see on your phone?
Yes.
Would you get them up, please, so I...
Oh, it's up.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
ma'am, I can.
Thank you.
I have the fight right here. This sound is right there. I already turned it. The only thing you have to play is the play button.
Okay, while she's looking for us, I'm going to take a look at this.
And here you go.
Who's the one on the ground?
I'm on the bottom. She's on top of me.
It's terrible. I don't understand it when women fight. It's just so... I mean, I can't understand when men fight either, but you sort of expect it of them. But I never understand how women can do physical contact with other women in anger. Can't understand it, not in anger either. All right, let me see what she's got.
She better come right here and let this house leave me. Oh my God. Give me the phone. Wait. All right, bitch, be coming right here. What?
It looked to me like there were times in that video when she was on top and times when you were on top.
I never got on top. She kicked me in the face and all while I was down. I would never got on top.
Just said, were you wearing the red pants?
Pajamas, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you were wearing the red pants, right. I'll take a look at your pictures. It seemed as if somebody else who was in that mob, and it was very hard to tell, was kicking somebody.
Your Honor, that was me. I kicked her. We were fighting, and her witness is she jumped in the fight, and she actually hit me in the head.
Love a person who tells the truth all the time. Right? Thank you. No. Okay. Ladies shouldn't fight. You shouldn't be in the same place together if you're not getting along together. You don't go to the park together. But this was a fight. Looked to me from that video is that you were both willing participants in that altercation. So I'm dismissing your counterclaim, with the exception of the $100 that she owes you for the balance of the car. So in this case, the car is transferred permanently to the plaintiff with her payment of $100. Your counterclaim for assault is dismissed. You have 2 children. Do you have kids?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, don't fight. It's not ladylike. All right, we're done. We're done. Court is adjourned.
It was not a bad car. It is now because I don't know what she did to it, but it's not a bad car. But I'm just glad she got it back out my hands.
I took good care of the vehicle. I got it fixed multiple times, spent almost $2,700 into getting the car fixed.
It's just messed up, like drivable and everything.
She told me that she reported it stolen since it was in her name, but she actually kept a spare key. And she came into my yard at like 3 a.m., I believe she said, and she just drove off with it while I was asleep.
I guess because she's immature, and some people just do immature things.
We're no longer friends.
I think what we saw in there was 2 women square up, get into a fight. Obviously, no one wants to see it, a terrible result, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and the court is not going to step in and figure out what happened here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. People generally shouldn't fight. I always find it unnerving when I see women who are supposed to be triple process thinkers, all women, but especially somebody with 2 young kids. Take yourself out of harm's way. Don't put yourself in harm's way. But if you do, don't